Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to videos. It's been a really long time, and the reason why is we're all about Corey. And Corey wasn't feeling too good, and he's doing great, and he's back. And I'm so happy because, again, it's all about Corey. Um, Corey makes it happen. Corey is the reason why we're here. He's the brains behind, he's the talent behind. I just like to draw, and that's what we're going to do. We've been talking about what to do for new videos for quite some time now. We came to the conclusion, Sheldon, what do you love? I love sketchbooks. I have this weird obsession about sketchbooks. So we came up with this idea. It's called SBO, Sheldon Borenstein Obsessed, and anybody who studied our school knows that I'm kind of an obsessed person. Um, or sketchbook obsession, which is what I have. So what we're going to do is we're going to study, and we're going to study with the sketchbook. So we're going to get started with that. But before I do, can I ask you guys a question? I mean, be honest with me, and send in the answers. What's this journey thing? Okay, because I spend 80% of my time in here and the rest of the 20% at the school. And I'm on this little box thing called this phone. If you haven't seen this before, this has a whole world in it. And you can sit here and go to like Instagram and stuff, and people will like talk to you. Well, they don't talk to you personally, but I kind of think they do. And I'm seeing this stuff like one after another, and it's just becoming like the real obsession. And it's called the journey. Your artist journey, unlock your artist journey. What was one of them? Which was imposter syndrome, which I thought was kind of cute. And I think, first of all, where's the lock? And so I'm looking for this lock for the art, for the journey. And then there's like this psychology going on. Like people are becoming like psychiatrists. And, I hang out with psychiatrists and they're always like, Sheldon, be careful. So you want to be careful with that. You're not allowed to really be a psychiatrist unless you are a psychiatrist. You're not allowed to be a psychologist unless you're a licensed psychologist. But now all of a sudden we're getting into this. Do you get depressed with your art? No. Did you ever want to be an artist? Yeah. Do you believe you're an artist? I guess. Yeah. I mean, what I do. Then take the key and unlock the journey. So I started researching the journeys, and the one that kept coming up was this one about an actress. An actress named Dorothy. And Dorothy, she worked in a place called Chicago, and you know, you know, Dorothy was a star on the east side of Chicago, back in the USA, back in the good old days. I mean, she was like really popular. She had a wild career. It was kind of a stormy career, but it was a good career, and it made a living for her. And all of a sudden, one day, like happens, often in Hollywood and other careers, it all went flat. It all went dead. It all went limp. And she had no career. She was out of work. So she went to her mom and she said, Mom, I need a job. I'm out of work. So her mom says, don't worry. Her mom did some research and found that there was a lot of work in Kansas. Yeah, who would think so? And but Dorothy says, I don't know anybody in Kansas. And her mom says, yes, we do. You have family there. And Dorothy says, I do? She says, yes, my sister lives there. Your aunt, Auntie M. And Dorothy thought about it and she says, I like the letter M because it goes both ways. I'm going to go to Kansas because I like it. So she goes to Kansas And there's all these jobs that she applies to be on this movie. And she's a little saucy. Her mom, her aunt said, when you go on the set, bring this little dog. People love these little tiny dogs. And Dorothy looked at it and said, it's not a dog, Annie. That's a rat. But, she goes, I like big, beefy, meaty dogs, like ones you can roll around with. What do you do with a dog like this? Stick it in a microwave. But she took the dog. She went on the set. The dog's name was, I don't remember, it was Toto. And, tea is good. You could put it upside down. It's interesting. And so she gets on the set with this tea, and it's interesting. It's kind of short and long, and it worked for her. And she gets on the set, and she gets the job. Now I understand that for her, this key, which is also the same, it's kind of two little round things here and this long thing here and little fuzzy. Yeah, it worked for her. It's familiar. So she gets on the set and she gets the job. And they said to her, go down the road, go on the journey. You're going to follow your journey. So she gets on the road. She follows this journey. It's a yellow road, and she's on there. And what's the first person she meets? Scarecrow. She goes, hi, Scarecrow. And the Scarecrow goes, hi, Dorothy. She says, you guys look really interesting. And she realized that the Scarecrow had no skeleton. He was just pure rhythm lines. And she goes, what do you do? He goes, I'm the story. I'm rhythm. I'm the Scarecrow. And she says, you can get into any kind of position, even if it doesn't work anatomically or skeletally. And the Scarecrow goes, yeah. She goes, I like you. You could be fun. So she realizes that this Scarecrow could be a big part of her life. So she says, well, let's go on the journey. So she says, let's go. And, Scarecrow goes, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm just hanging around. So they're off to the journey. And they're going to continue this journey. And they come across this other person. She goes, who are you? He says, I am the Tin Man. She goes, you look stiff. Says, yes, I am. She goes, I don't think you would dance very well at bar mitzvahs or weddings. That's because she got a lot of her work. And he goes, oh, but I don't need to dance well. I am the structure within your life. Everything fits perfect. And she goes, yeah, it does. So she says, wait a second. If I combine you with the Scarecrow, we can put it together and we could have story and structure. And he goes, now you're getting it, Dorothy. She goes, I think this is working. Hey, do you want to join us on the journey? He goes, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm just hanging around. Bam. So don't forget your little can, the little lubricant thing. See, you might need that. So they grab his little oil can and they're off to see the journey. On their way. Going on the journey. They meet the next thing. It's not a human, but it could be. And it was a lion. This lion was buff. She goes, hey, lion. He goes, hey, Dorothy. She goes, what do you do? He says, I'm anatomy. She goes, really? He goes, yeah, take a look. She goes, ooh, very impressive. So she says, wait a second, what do you do? He goes, I'm structure and story. She goes, I don't get it. He goes, look at the rhythms of my muscles. They're exactly the same story as the Scarecrow. But if you look at the way my muscles fit together, that's the structure of the Tin Man. And Dorothy says, I get it. She says, well, let's go. You want to join us? He goes, I'm not doing anything. Let's go. And they're off on this road. It's yellow, and they're feeling good until they get to the end. And she looks, and Dorothy looks down this end of the road, and there's all these other roads. But they're dark. And they're scary. And Dorothy hears something off in the distance. She goes, shh. other guys are talking, you know, they're guys, you know, they're talking. She goes, no, guys, shh, I hear something. She's listening. She hears off in the distance, I'll get you, my pretty. And then something flew by her face. She goes, what is it? And she's used to things flying by her face, but not like this. Bam, flying by, flying by. She goes, you see that? And the other guys are like, no, I don't see it. She goes, shh, shh. And she listens. And off in the distance she hears, I'll get you, my pretty. She says, who are you? He says, I am the Wicked Witch. She goes, Wicked Witch? Wicked Witch of what? And she hears, I am the Wicked Witch of watercolor. Watercolor, what's that? She says, Dorothy, have you ever tried to paint with water? She goes, no, but you're going to now, and it's going to mess you up. She goes, oh my God. And she looks down this other road. She goes, shh. And she hears off in the distance, I'll get you, my pretty. She goes, who are you? She goes, I'm the Wicked Witch of acrylic. Acrylic what? Acrylic paint. She goes, no, no, no. I'm feeling good. I have a gesture, story. I have structure, construction. I have anatomy. This is great. I'm good. I'm done. I'm finished. And the Wicked Witch says, wow, but you don't have technique. And Dorothy said, oy vey, now what am I going to do? And she looks down this long road, and there's all these other roads. Each one of them had its own wicked, horrible witch. It had the Wicked Witch of oil paint, Wicked Witch of pastel, Wicked Witch of fountain pen and wash and colored pencil and white chalk and tone paper. And she goes, how am I going to solve all this? And she looked up. And I was there. I said, Dorothy, don't worry about it. You're a good kid. I'll guide you. She goes, you will? I said, yeah, that's what I do. Let me take you by the hand. Let me bring your friends, and I'll show you. And that's what we're going to do in here. What we have in this studio is way too many art supplies because I couldn't afford them as a kid. I've way than made up for it now. I have way too many books because I couldn't afford those either as a kid. You're probably looking at over 1,500 books in the studio. I have a section right here, one of the largest sections that I know of anybody has, of Vilpu, my mentor. Huge. Right above him, a massive section on Rubens, my hero. Right next to that, huge sections on anatomy, my favorite. I love anatomy. That's the lion. We have perspective down here, huge sections. I've got illustrators, just about every illustrator that was famous. Over here in the corner, I've got those illustrator books. I've got every one of them that's ever been printed. Above that, I have medical books. I love working in forensics. I gotta study medical books. This whole section right here, this is from floor to ceiling, is just part of the animation books. Behind me, master drawing books. Masters, the people that we need to study from over there. More vintage animation. I've got over here, this is just books that were purchased recently at the Getty, my favorite place in the world. Art supplies, paper, and probably looking at close to 200 sketchbooks. I have little sketchbooks that have crazy paper in here. I've got sketchbooks where I have made them myself and put paper in here. Watercolor paper, really fun stuff. Tons of different sketchbooks. And what we're going to do is each week or each day, because I draw a lot, I'm going to grab a sketchbook off the floor, grab it off the shelf here. There's probably like 60 of them here. I probably got about 40, 50 on the floor, about 90 over here in the back. We're going to grab a sketchbook, and then we're going to sit down at my desk. We have a down shooter. We're able to talk to you from a side shooter. And we're going to draw together. We're not going to worry about the psychobabble. If you're not happy with your art, you're doing it right. I'll show you. How about this? I'll show you how to be a professional artist. I'll show you. That's what I've done my whole life. So let's have some fun. Let's laugh a little bit. Let's laugh at ourselves. Let's laugh at movies. Let's laugh at the masters. And let's learn. Okay? So welcome to the new videos. Let's have fun. And let's say thank you to Corey, because without him,